Hello, good morning. My name is David. My credentials are 3158292014. Today I'm going to explain you about how we can use the modal verbs to make a request. As you know, wherever we go, we need to be aware of the things that we need to know or the things that we can use to make a request in a polite way. So first of all, I'm going to show you the structure, and then I'm going to give you some examples so you can put that in practice. First of all, the main verbs or modal verbs that are used to make this request are those are can, may, and could. So in this case, for us to make a request, we need to be aware of the structure. So the structure is, first of all, the modal verb. Then we need to use a subject, which in this case I'm going to use I, and then we need to use we can use a verb here, and then we can complete the question. So the structure is the modal verb, and then we need to use a subject, which is in this case I, following by a verb, and then you can complete your question. Now we can use another example, because can and may, they are actually the same thing. They follow the same structure. So we can use another example for may. May I get that book? So in this case, we're following the same structure. We can use the modal verb, then we have the subject, then we have the following verb, and then we can complete the question. Now we can use could, but the only difference between those modal verbs and could is because could is like the most polite way to make a request. So we go with could. In this case, could I have that pen? This is an example of using could. It is the same structure. The only difference is the politeness when you're making a request. So it is the same scenario: the modal verb, the subject, the following verb, and lastly, to complete the question. So this is like the main idea to make a request using the modal verbs. Now moving forward, I'd like to explain you how to use the would you mind form. In this case, it is actually different than using the modal verbs. I'm going to give you an example. In this case, like, the main key will be would you mind. That is something that we cannot change. Would you mind? Once we have this, we need to be aware, because there are two forms or two ways to make this request. So I'm going to show you the first one. In this case, you need to put the would you mind, and then the following verb must be in ing form. For example, would you mind? I'm going to use the verb pass. So would you mind passing? And then you can complete your question. That cup. So would you mind passing that cup? That will be an example. You need to be aware and keep in mind that the verb, once we have the would you mind, we need to use the verb in ing form. Now we have the second way to make a request. This one, it is basically the same. The only difference is what we're going to put right after the would you mind. Would you mind? Then the next verb must be in the past tense. Would you mind? But first of all, you need to be aware of this. You need to use a key, which is the conditional if. Would you mind if I? Then we need to use the subject. Would you mind if I? And then the verb in the past tense. If I close and then you can complete the question, the door. So be aware of this. Now I'm gonna give you some exercise so you can practice what we have learned. For example, in this case, when you use would you mind, following the structure, the answer will be would you mind going out with me tonight? The second one will be would you mind if I, following the structure, as I told you, you need to use the conditional if and then the subject and the past tense of the verb. If I open the window. Now for the modal verbs, in this case will be following the structure, can I borrow your pencil? And then lastly, the last exercise will be, can you give me a ride home? Thank you for your attention, guys, and I hope you have learned a lot.